Alright, so WCQ ranks are live, and I just want to make this quick video to check out what rank I got. I only played the first day, so I only played on Friday, and then I stopped at 20,000 points because I feel like 20,000 points is a decent threshold for a deck like Crusadia that's not tiered at all. It's an untiered deck, and it's not even rogue for sure. It's more like a semi-casual deck. Like, it's not casual. It can get to Diamond 1, but it's nowhere near like rogue or able to push that far in events like these where it's just super competitive and super sweaty, right? I'm not sure Crusadia really has that kind of ceiling. But then again, the fact that I got 20,000 points on the first day probably suggests that I could have pushed for top 1k global. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't get top 1k global because 20,000 was not enough for 1k global in the last DC. So this time it probably isn't enough either, but let's just see what I got. Yep. Alright, top 2k I guess. Yeah, that's about what I expected really. It should be around like, because the last time I got like 1,600 global. So this makes sense. It's a bit more competitive. Alright, got the icon again, cool. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this Tasuku is a freaking god. And yeah, it looks like the bottom end was a bit more, well, it's a bit less competitive. But in the upper end, yeah, it's a bit more competitive. And then in the top cut, it's just extremely competitive. So yeah, I got 20,000 points in this event on the first day, and I think you can see here. Yeah, you can see. So I stopped playing on the first day, right? 27th May was the first day of the event in my time zone. You can see here 29th was the last day. So work back 3 days, 29, 28, 27. You can see I'm not kidding. So yeah, you can see toward the end at like 20,000 points, the win rate's about like 50%. Isn't great. And I had this was rough. But yeah, overall, like, yeah, the climb from 0 to 10 obviously was very smooth. 10 to 15, I guess, with maybe I had like a 60+% win rate. But then the closer I got to 20, it became more like 50%. And why? Because, okay, like this was late in the first day, right? So I started to see more Sprite, and Sprite is a terrible matchup for this deck list. Oh yeah, and yeah, you can see what deck list I was playing. Exact same deck list, right? This is the exact same deck list from my Diamond 1 climb and from my DLV Max climb. I didn't change anything. I just was lazy, and frankly, I don't enjoy playing Crusadia OTK. Well, I should say Kaiju Crusadia OTK. It's very unga bunga. It's very luck-sacky. It's like you either have it or you don't, right? Which makes it good for climbing in the sense that it's fast. But in terms of win rate, like, I'm going to say like the Mekk-Knight Crusadia version of the Crusadia OTK is definitely stronger, definitely higher win rate overall than pure Crusadia. Why? Because pure Crusadia relies only on having that Kaiju on the opponent's side of the field, and then doing the Equimax bonk with Revival. Some of them are playing Update Jammer, of course, and so they can OTK on an empty board, but it's not that frequent. But here with Mekk-Knight Crusadia, I'm able to solve a lot more different matchups, such as stun. I have a lot more win cons, and because my strategy was built around sort of like stealing monsters, well, I won't say that because I only had like 5 monster steal spells. That's all there is in a game, but 6. But you know, there's a bit more of a monster stealing element here, which coupled with the Mekk-Knights allows for more OTKs and just more ways of solving different game states that pure Crusadia doesn't have. So that's why I feel like, yeah, 20,000 points was ultimately feasible. But yeah, you know, I really don't enjoy playing Kaiju Crusadia OTK. It's just extremely luck-sacky. But I won't deny it's effective against tiers. But I'm hoping that the new ban list that was just announced today will get rid of the Ishizu cards mostly have been limited, so hopefully that allows like the graveyard strategies to thrive again. I really want to use World Legacy Secret and the whole World Legacy engine again, so hopefully that happens, but we'll see what happens for next month. But for now, yeah, this OTK is definitely the way to go. It's just the best way of climbing right now. I don't think I can play any of these replays. Yep, I can't play any more replays, so unfortunately no replays from this climb. I was just like, let me get my 20k points and get out, because seeing tears everywhere is boring, seeing shifter fissure everywhere is boring. The re-emergence of Sprite was, I guess it was welcome in one sense, the fact that Tears isn't Tier 0 anymore, but it was not welcome in the sense that this deck, OTK, has no way of dealing with Tears, and that's another weakness of Kaiju Crusadia, right? When your whole game plan in Kaiju Crusadia revolves around taking out one monster, having a couple board breakers hopefully, and then just funneling your entire strategy into like attacking that Kaiju. That's not going to work for a board like Sprite, especially Melfi Sprite. Now there's so many targets on the field. Who do you Kaiju, and how do you deal with the rest of the board after that? Because you only have one Kaiju, right? So that's why I feel like, this monster, so 6 Kaijus supplemented with 6 monster steal spells gives you a bit more variety in your hand, possible hands, and generally your hands have less of a hard once per turn restriction. Kaijus are kind of like soft once per turn, right? So but most Kaiju Crusadia decks are playing like 9 or like 7 to 9. That severely limits the hands that you get. You get basically 1 removal, and hopefully like back row removal as well. That's not good enough in general, let alone against Sprite. So this definitely. So even like Mekk-Knight Crusadia has a very bad matchup against Sprite. In fact, I can say like I lost every single Sprite game that I played. So when the Sprites started popping up, I lost every single one of them. And this deck is definitely built to counter Tears, which is not a good thing. It's too narrow in application. It's okay against Flu as well, and against Exo Sister it's pretty good, but I just don't like how narrow like the field is when I'm playing this deck, and I really hate like how narrow like the meta is with like Tears dominating everywhere. But now we can see something change, because it was proven that Sprite is at least just as effective as Tears, so hopefully we see more Sprite on the ladder, but then that makes it a lot more complicated for deck building, because this is definitely not going to cut it if the Sprites start coming out. So we will see what happens next season. But 20,000 points. I'm very sure that if I just because this was only on the first day, right? So if I just play like even one more day, 5 more wins in one more day, I'm pretty sure I could have gotten top 1k. So in a sense, I feel like it's a bit of a shame, because I've always stated that I wanted to get at least one top 1k in any of these events, and even better if it's the WCQ, right? Because you get the icon. Well, actually no, it's the same icon, but you get like WCS Qualifiers top 1k. This title, I'm only going for like the top 1k for the title. Like, I just want to have one top 1k in my profile, just one, right? But and this was probably one of the better events to get it. Well, actually no, let me reframe that, because on the first day this was probably looking like a good bet for top 1k, 25k points, 25 win plus. It's definitely doable. But then on day 2, when Sprite started coming in force, maybe I'm not sure I would have adapted in the heat of the competition to change this into like more of a standard mid-range World Legacy deck, and I'm not sure that would have paid off either, because then I would have lost a lot to Tears. So okay, maybe this wasn't the event for top 1k. I feel like I was close enough, considering this was only the first day to score. But now that I think about it again, actually maybe not, just because of how specific the deck needs to be built to consistently beat Tears, but then at the same time how diverse and varied the meta actually was starting from day 2. Yeah, maybe top 1k was a bit more. Yeah, I mean, okay, it wasn't out of reach. I probably would have done it if I just persisted, but now that I think about it again, maybe I'll do it next event. Hopefully next event is like the Kashtira meta, so I guess the kaijus will be good again, but hopefully I can play more of like the World Legacy engine and have a bit more fun, and then try and push for top 1k then. Alright, so this was just rambly again, but yeah, this was what I got, and at least for the time being, as long as sprites don't suddenly explode in popularity, I think I will play this deck to get to Diamond 1 next season. Although I'm also thinking of just holding off because of the new ban list and because of the Bisteals that we're gonna get. I just wonder how that changes the meta, and honestly I'm so sick of this current meta that I just don't care. So I feel like, okay, maybe I should just wait for Bisteals to come out and then let them change the meta, and then I'll play in that format and climb to Diamond 1. I feel like I'll have more fun. We'll see what happens.